Hello again, and I spent the last couple of hours listening to this album here. It's the very best of Steely Dan. I've got the album on vinyl and on CD. The vinyl record was, this was the first Steely Dan vinyl album that I bought, and I would have bought this, I think, soon after it was released in 1985. This was on MCA Records, this particular compilation. And I remember listening to the album for the first time and playing it over again and being so impressed with what I was hearing that I went out and over time I bought their individual albums that they released. So I've got all the individual albums on vinyl in my collection here, and to this day they still remain as one of my favourite all-time favourite bands. I really enjoy listening to their albums, and yeah, it was nice to go back and to pull this particular album out of my collection, being as though it was the first album that I bought of Steely Dan's, and listening to it again and comparing it to the CD. Now, the sound quality of these releases, now it says on the bottom corner of the vinyl, it says digitally mastered. Now the sound quality I found was okay, and I played side by side quite a lot of the tracks off here, comparing the vinyl to the CD, and in particular I played Hey 19 and Babylon Sisters. I focus on those two particular tracks, and then I went to my collection and I pulled that one out. It's the Steely Dan Gaucho. This was the original release from 1980, again on MCA Records, and on here I played Babylon Sisters and Hey 19. Now, playing it on this album, the original release, to my ears, in my system, it seemed as though a veil had been pulled away from the speakers, and suddenly the soundstage opened up and got a lot deeper, and sort of things became a lot more apparent in the recording, such as the characteristics, the unique characteristics of Donald Fagen's vocal. And also, for instance, like the backing vocals, and each individual backing vocal was a lot easier to pick out whilst listening to those tracks off this album, as opposed to the compilation album on both CD and vinyl. Yeah, it just seemed a lot better to my ears, right across the tonal spectrum, and sort of in the space that I was listening to, I was able to, pick out then sort of the sound stage a lot easier, and overall a lot more, to me, a lot more enjoyable listening to those particular tracks of this album, the original release from 1980. But overall, it's been a really, really enjoyable couple of hours listening to Steely Dan once again, and just reminds me of what a fantastic band, what great music and musicianship, was absolutely superb. And yeah, they still remain as one of my all-time favourite bands, and this in particular is a very, very good album. So anyway, I just thought I'd just show what I've been listening to over the last couple of hours, and yeah, it's been quite interesting again, listening to some Steely Dan once more. Thanks again for watching the video. Bye bye.